my fellow comic book collectors, it's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and this is the third part of my 5-part series where I'm going to be showing you my top 50 comics in my collection. And this is going to be books that range from $3,500 to $4,500. So it's pretty tight range, like about $1,000 between the 10 books, and they are pretty big books. They're pretty cool books, mostly dominated by Golden Age, but there is one Silver Age that managed to make the list. This is going to be a pretty good list, but before I get into it, I just want to give out 2 shout outs, because each time I do these videos, I want to shout out 2 other channels to take up the challenge. And this week, I'm going to shout out to Epoc Comics and Mr. E, the Low Grade King, who's already actually started his top 50, so I recommend you check out his video series where actually he's done his first 20, I think, out of the top 50, and they're pretty amazing books that he got at amazing prices. I wish I could have found those books at those prices. He's got some pretty amazing books, so definitely check him out. So that's Epoch Comics and Mr. E, the Low Grade King. Both will be linked in the description. So that's my shoutouts. I'm going to do 2 shoutouts per video, so 10 channels will be talked about throughout this series. So let's get into it. The first book on my list is Mr. Mystery, number 12. And this is a great Injury to Eye cover. And you get the hot poker, and it's flaming hot poker, actually. And it seems to be going right into the guy's eye, and the guy's eye doesn't look too happy about that. Just a really crazy cover. I'm surprised this didn't make it into the Seduction of the Innocent, because Frederick Wortham, he was always a little bit crazy about Injury to Eye, and this is definitely Injury to Eye. So this is a classic cover, and it usually commands big money. You can see it's a 1/5, and this goes for about $3,500. So about almost $3,000 a point. So yeah, just a crazy expensive book, but a really cool one. Yeah, so this is Mr. Mystery, number 12. And it's great Precode Horror Bernard Bailey cover. Okay, next one on the list is a really cool book. This one's in really rough shape. Just I have to say that. This is Detective Comics number 40. And even though it's in really rough shape, I mean, it's a green label, 0.5. It's just like, it's missing a big chunk, actually. This has all been cut out where it's Robin. That's not the important part of this comic. This is actually the very first time you see the Joker on the cover of any Batman or any comic. So you got Joker right there, and this is his first cover appearance. And it's a really cool one because you got Batman trying to stop him from chopping this post that Robin is on. So just a really great Bob Kane cover. And what does it say? It's a Bob Kane and Jerry Robinson cover. And it's the origin and the first appearance of Clayface as well. First Joker cover from Batman 1 story. Full page ad for Batman 1. It's a really cool book. It's, the first Joker cover appearance. So just a really cool one. And what's wrong with this book? So I gotta read this. It's crazy how much is wrong with this book. So it's this is DC Comics 1940, and it's got 1 page married, color copy piece attached to front cover with tape, back cover, and 2 center wraps missing. So you can see back cover is missing. Just like, it's a 0.5. What do you expect? Okay, so it's really rough. And 2 center wraps missing, effects story, first front cover and page 1 and 32 detached, incomplete. So it's a really rough copy. Even with all of that said, with all of those bad things going for it, it's still an expensive book. So this book goes for around $3,500 and $33. So a really crazy expensive book, even in this really poor grade. I'm just happy to have it. I always want to have those first appearances or first cover appearances. And this is both. It's the first clay face and it is the first Joker cover. So it's one that's a little funny, a little rough, but it actually presents really well considering. But yeah, so that's that one. The next one on my list is the Silver Age book that I said one Silver Age book made the list, and it's this one. And it's one of my another ugly copy in my comic collection. This is X-Men #1, and it's also in a 0.5. Now, actually, the funny thing is the way 0.5 grades work, and most people don't really understand this, is that 0.5 doesn't necessarily mean that it's an incomplete copy. Sometimes it can actually be complete, but just be so ugly that it gets that incomplete status or 0.5 status. So for example, one of the other things that can happen that will give you a 0.5 grade is if the spine is completely split. That will often give you a 0.5 grade if there's even a slight flaw other than the spine being split. So this one is a complete interior, but it is just in really rough shape. You can see there's somebody wrote 5 cents on it. It's pretty ugly along that spine, but I love this book. It is it may be the ugliest book in my collection, but it is definitely one that I really do treasure because it is so cool. It's like the first appearance of the X-Men, and it's just such an iconic book. It's one of those ones that I really wanted as a kid, and the X-Men are the what people most associate with Marvel. X-Men, Spider-Man, and Fantastic Four. Those are the 3 big ones. And this is definitely a pretty exciting book for me to have in my collection. And so let's read what it says. It's a Jack Kirby cover, Stan Lee's story, origin and first appearance of the X-Men, Professor X, Cyclops, Iceman, Angel, Beast, and Marvel Girl, and Magneto. So cover and 2 center wraps detached, tape on the interior. That's the issues with it. And it's from 1963. So X-Men #1. And this book, at one point, actually back in 2022, it actually had really gone crazy in terms of even a 0.5 grade. It was selling for around $5,750. So $5,750. Now it goes for around $3,600. So still an expensive book. I paid $1,800 for it. I got it sort of in this weird lull, and I picked it up for a pretty great price. So I was excited to get it. I didn't think I would ever get the book in my collection. And when the bidding stopped, I was like, really? Did I win that? And I was like, oh, I'm all excited. So yeah, $3,600 book. Okay, next one on the list is another one I was pretty excited to get. I actually kind of a little bit overpaid for this one. So this is Startling Comics number 49. And this is known as the Bender cover. It's Alex Schomburg. And the reason it's called the Bender cover is because of this robot. Looks like the Bender character from Futurama. Now, I actually talked with Bill Morrison, who is one of the creators of Futurama, and he said that this character was the inspiration for Bender. So it's kind of the first appearance of Bender, and it is like a really great cover. It's just a classic robot cover, damsel in distress, one of these airbrush covers by Alex Schomburg. Just an amazing cover, and people really they see this as probably one of Alex Schomburg's most iconic covers. And if you're an Alex Schomburg collector like myself, well, this is the one you really want to get. I saw this listed on eBay, and I paid like $4,200 for it. Probably that was an overpay. I didn't realize, because I didn't read the listing properly, because they had sort of, on eBay, they made this weird change, and it was only briefly, it only lasted like a week or two, where they hid the descriptions. Like you had to sort of click through tabs to get to the full description. And I didn't see that in the full description, not in the regular description, but in the full description, it said that it was incomplete. Now, I believe it's missing the 2 center wraps. I think that's why it says like it's actually got a green blue label 0.5. It was actually cracked out of a slab. So it's missing the 2 center wraps. And so I didn't know that when I ordered it. And then afterwards I found out, oh, it's incomplete. And, you know, I sort of priced it based on being complete. Because if you look at it, it's actually a very solid copy. I mean, it really presents well. Probably presents as a 3 or 3.5. And I thought, oh, wow. The price seemed really amazing. But it's probably only worth around $3,700. But still, a very expensive book, even in that 0.5 grade. Now I just got to find 2 center wraps and sneak them in there. So yeah, so this is Startling Comics number 49, and it goes for around $3,650 actually. So yeah. So that's the next one. And so 3,650. Sorry, I said 37, but I was mistaken. Next one on the list is Fantastic Four, another Silver Age. Actually, I didn't realize there was 2 Silver Ages on the list. This is Fantastic Four number 5, and this is the first appearance of Dr. Doom. And it's a great Stan Lee story with Jack Kirby art and Joe Simon art. It says, origin and first appearance of Dr. Doom, a full page ad for Incredible Hulk number 1, letter from Roy Thomas. Now this one does have restoration. It looks like what happened was somebody decided, hey, let's regloss the cover. I don't know why. And they put this weird glaze kind of thing on the cover. So it says, restoration includes cover regloss. Seriously, they just literally put this weird gloss on the cover. And it's impossible to reverse. But I don't know, maybe it could be soaked off. I don't know. It's just weird. Yeah, that's the issue with it. It's a 1/8 restored copy. And even in this restored 1/8 status, it probably goes for around $3,700. If you looked at this book back in the heights of 2022, it was going for around $4,200. So it's down a little bit, but still is commanding pretty big money for a restored book. There was actually one that recently resold as a restored book for that $3,700. So I was like, oh man. And actually, I think there was a blue label that sold for a similar price. So even in this restored state, it doesn't actually lose that much value because it's such a low grade that people are a little bit more forgiving in terms of the impact it has on price. So just a cool book. Just one that I really like. This was actually a grail for me because I really like Dr. Doom. He is, to me, the best bad guy from all of Marvel. Him and like Magneto would be the other one, I guess. And maybe the Green Goblin. Those would be my 3 favorites. So yeah, so definitely a cool character for me. Okay, so that's that one. The next one on the list is one that I really was excited to get. As a kid, I grew up reading Donald Duck, Uncle Scrooge, and the other character my parents would allow me to read was Richie Rich. I really liked Richie Rich. I just like the whole idea of being so super wealthy. You can pretty much do whatever you want. And this is the book that has the very first appearance of Richie Rich. This is Little Dot #1. And this is a 2.5. And at the peak is now. Actually, when I bought this, I think I paid around $3,500, around there. Now it goes for around $3,833 is the last sale for this grade. This one is from 1953, is the first appearance of Richie Rich and Little Lotta. So you got 2 first appearances, and it's a cute cover too. You know, you got Little Dot. She's painting the dots with polka dot paint onto the doghouse, which is very convenient. I really like to see that kind of paint. So yeah, so this is Little Dot #1. Very hard book to find, by the way. Okay, next on the list is one that I really love all these books actually, but this one is one of these awesome classic covers, and it's one that was mentioned in the Seduction of the Innocent. It is Blue Beetle #54, and this is a Jack Kamen cover. And my friend Stephen Gentner always says, "Oh, you can really recognize Jack Kamen's art whenever you see a knife. It's always slightly curved," and that's a tell for it being a Jack Kamen cover. Now, Jack Kamen was really good at drawing the female figure, and this one is a really good one because just a sexy one with the girl looking in the mirror, and you get this weird guy coming in with the dagger. Who knows what he's going to do to her? So just a really cool Blue Beetle cover. Now, Blue Beetle actually had a string of comics around this era, like in the 50s to the, I think, issue 60s, where it was all good girl art covers. Just a really great run on Blue Beetle. And those books command the most money of all the Blue Beetle series because they are these really great good girl art covers. And this one is probably one of the more valuable ones of the run because it was mentioned in the Seduction of the Innocent because of this very suggestive cover. Now, if you look at the girl here, it looks like she's not wearing a bra, but somehow in the reflection she's wearing a bra. And the other thing that it says about this book, a classic good girl cover used in Soti, hanging panel. And this is from 1948. It's a really great one. Now, this book goes for around, I think in 2022, I actually paid around $3,000 for it. It went for around $4,000. However, it has slid down a little bit. It's slightly less valuable. It's gone down to $3,900. So that's how much in this one. So about $1,000 a point on this book. It's a really cool one. About $1,100 maybe per point. So just a great book, and one that is one of the ones I used to always have behind me because I really liked it. It was like, yeah, but I wanted to switch it out, so I changed different books up there. But it was one that's one of my favorites. Next one is one that I just acquired recently. This is Witch's Tales #25. This is a pretty major book, actually, because it's right at the end of the Precode Horror era. This is 1954, I believe, and it is a decapitation cover. So you got this head being used as the clapper inside this bell, and it's got blood, it's got gore, it's got everything. It's just pretty gory cover. So this is Witch's Tales #25, and this is covered by Howard Norstrand, and it's Harvey Publications, and just a really great one. Just such a gory cover, and this is probably one of those top 10 Precode Horror covers of all time. Now this one goes for around $4,500. It's easy. What I always do whenever I look at certain books, I kind of can price them out based on the per point value. So this one generally goes for around $1,000 per point. So 4 or 5 times it by 1,000, and you get the value of the book. So it goes for around $4,500. Just a great classic Precode Horror cover. I'll show you the back as well. Okay, next on the list is another one that was mentioned in The Seduction of the Innocent. And this one actually was pictured in the illustrations because it was one of these covers that they thought was a little bit more blatant in terms of its corruption that it would have on the youth of America. And this is Reformed Schoolgirl. And this is a 2.5. And this one is used in The Seduction of the Innocent. Classic photo cover, lingerie cover. So she's wearing lingerie. And this is from 1951, Avon. And the girl is actually a Canadian figure skater that posed for this cover. Just a really great classic cover for collectors of Seduction of the Innocent books. So this is definitely one of the grails from the Seduction of the Innocent run. And this one goes, I think I paid like $2,900 for it. But it goes for now, it's gone up a lot. It goes for around $4,532 for this grade. About almost $2,000 a point. It's pretty crazy how expensive this book is. But it is a classic cover. And you even got some sexiness on the back of it as well. So definitely corrupting the youth. The interesting thing about this one is it says, the graphic story of boys and girls running wild in the violence-ridden slums of today. Reformed schoolgirl. They succumb to temptation. This is the story of youth gone wrong and the penalty of hundreds of pretty girls have to pay when they allow themselves to fall victim to unscrupulous men, their own wayward emotions, and other hidden pitfalls of sensation-crazed society. So just really cool book. I love it. This is one I was super happy to get as well. So yeah, Reformed Schoolgirl. And that goes for around $4,532. Okay, the next one, last on this list, number 21 on my list of top 50 books, is one that is you just don't see it very often. It's a really rare book, actually. It is Sensation Comics number 2. And this is like a early Wonder Woman appearance, early Wonder Woman cover appearance. I think this is actually maybe her second cover appearance. And it's also the first appearance of Etta Candy, second appearance of Wildcat and Black Pirate. So Etta Candy is kind of like Wonder Woman's sidekick. So this is a very key appearance for Wonder Woman. Etta Candy's sort of this pudgy girl that is the sidekick of Wonder Woman. She actually was in the Wonder Woman first movie and is a major character for Wonder Woman. So this is Sensation Comics number 2 from 1942. It is who did the cover? I don't know who did the cover. It might be Sheldon Moldoff, but I'm not sure. Usually a lot of these covers were done by H.G. Peter, but I don't think this one is. I think it's maybe Sheldon Moldoff. So yeah, just a cool book. This one, I think I paid $3,800 for it. It is now worth around $4,550. So just a really great Wonder Woman comic, key issue for Wonder Woman. And just one you don't see very often. Very rare book. And when I saw it come up, I just snatched it. I went for it. But that is my top 30 to 21 books. I hope you enjoyed this list. Check out Epoch and check out Mr. E Low Grade King. And thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for 2 more parts where I show even bigger books. And again, thanks for watching. Bye for now.